Hello students, this was the first lecture that I uploaded on YouTube, and because most of my students are from Hindi medium, the narration was both in Hindi and more in Hindi and less in English. So I am making this lecture again for the English medium students. The topic is an introduction to macroeconomics. Before we proceed, let's see what's the content of today's lecture. First is what is macroeconomics, then the origin and roots of macroeconomics, major issues of macroeconomics, the role of government in the macroeconomy, post-Keynesian developments in macroeconomics, and finally importance of macroeconomics. Let us first understand what is macroeconomics and see the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Micro, as the name suggests, is related to the analysis of small individual units of an economy. For example, an individual consumer, a particular producer, or the price of a particular commodity. Whereas macroeconomics deals with total and sum of all individual units of an economy. So it's a study of aggregates, for example, employment, gross domestic product, that is known as GDP, or the price level in the economy. Before we proceed further, let us understand the origin and roots of macroeconomics and when in history macroeconomics was established as a major branch of economics. In 1929, the Great Depression emerged in free market capitalist economies like America, Britain, and it spread to the rest of the world. And Great Depression was prevalent throughout the 1930s for a whole decade all over the world. So it marked the failure of the classical economists and the theory of income and employment that was based on Say's law of market given by J.B. Say that said that supply creates its own demand, and this paved the way for the Keynesian revolution. Let us know a little about John Maynard Keynes. His total time frame was June 1883 to 21st April 1946. He was a British economist. He belonged to the school of thought which was established by his work and his name, Keynesian economics. For the students who are not aware about school of thought, let me clarify that it is not only about economics but in every branch of any subject or sector there are school of thought indicates a particular set of people, especially in economics, who believe in a common set of rules or principles or foundations they have are common on which economic theories are framed. As he established macroeconomics, he is also known as the father of modern macroeconomics. He wrote a very important book, General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, in the year 1936, explaining the cause of depression all over the world and discarding the theory of classical economists. And he introduced many new macroeconomic tools like marginal propensity to consume, and his thoughts of economics were so revolutionary and so new that it was also known as Keynesian revolution and new economics. Let us see the major issues of macroeconomics. There is the problem of unemployment, recession, and determination of national income, that is gross domestic product GDP, problem of inflation, business cycles, stagflation, economic growth, balance of payments, and exchange rate. Government plays a major role in the macroeconomy, and policy measures can be viewed in three different categories: fiscal policy, monetary policy, and supply side policies. Fiscal policies are the policies that are taken directly by the government It refers to taxation and expenditure decisions of the government. For example, at the time of recession, if the government increases the government spending to boost aggregate demand, that comes under fiscal policy, or if the government takes decision to increase the tax rate to increase its revenue, that also comes under fiscal policy. Monetary policy is always taken by the central bank of any economy, that is Reserve Bank of India, RBI for India, and it deals with influencing the money supply, which henceforth influences the aggregate demand by using many monetary policy instruments like interest rate, cost of credit, availability of credit. Supply side policies emerged with the concept of stagflation that was very evident during the 1970s, which brought forth that both stagnancy, recession can be prevalent with high price level. That was a dual problem, and they focused that it's not only the demand but the supply aspect of any economy that should be focused on to bring about major policy changes to address the economic issues. Now let's see that what happened after Keynesian revolution. There were a number of school of thoughts that were a mixture of both classical and Keynes, and they put forward a new philosophy and a new argument to address economic problems. The first is monetarism. They all are known as post-Keynesian developments in macroeconomics because macroeconomics was established by John Maynard Keynes. So we will see that what happened after Keynes. Monetarism argued that monetary policy is the prime engine in causing fluctuations in economic activity, and they said that inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomena, and if we want to address economic problems effectively, then monetary policy is the best solution. Supply side economics argued that it's the supply aspect that should be focused in making policies to increase employment opportunities, incentives to work, save, and invest more. New classical economics based on rational expectations said that consumers, workers, producers have all the informations, relevant informations about the economy, and the decisions that they take are very rational to promote their interests and welfare. New Keynesian economics explained that why in the short run price has a tendency to not change, which is referred as price stickiness, that they help to describe by the help of microeconomics, and they also kept the conclusions of traditional Keynesian economics. Finally, we should understand that what is the importance of macroeconomics, why this branch of economics is so relevant, because as we have discussed that macroeconomics talks about aggregate, it indicates the economic situation of the nation of the world. So to have a better understanding of the working of the economy, we should know the macroeconomic indicators. A study of macroeconomics is very essential. All throughout the world, policy measures are taken most of the time by analyzing the macroeconomic indicators or variables like the level of employment, the level of unemployment, the level of GDP growth, price level, inflation level. So to take good policy measures so that the economy sustains increasing GDP and stable economic growth, macroeconomics is needed. For understanding business cycles indicates that over a time period how the GDP goes up and down. So to come out of the down period or the recession period, we should understand macroeconomics. Formulating government's macroeconomic policies. Government frames policies on the basis of macroeconomic indicators, which makes this branch of economics very important. Individuals also take decisions. Their demand fluctuates on the basis of and also their saving fluctuates on the basis of economic situations. Business decisions are taken on the basis of economic conditions and on which the whole economy depends, because economy is run by production activity, and all the major decisions by business firms are taken by viewing the macroeconomic indicators. This is all for today's lecture. As this was an introductory lecture, we have not taken any aspect in detail. In upcoming lectures we will study everything in detail. I hope you got idea of economics and macroeconomics, the importance of macroeconomics, and most importantly the origin of macroeconomics and its significance from 1936 with John Maynard Keynes till date. And I hope you like the video. So subscribe the channel, share the channel, and please share your doubts and positive suggestions. Thank you.